Hello and welcome to MtM Vegas. COVID restrictions are being lifted starting next month and even beyond that. Find out the details and why we may even be able to see hockey games coming up. Plus, we got the dates of the openings of two of the biggest projects of 2021. Virgin Hotels Las Vegas and Resorts World announced their opening dates. We will let you know all about that. Plus, resort fees are going up at some Vegas Strip hotels. Even in the pandemic, they can't resist raising the resort fees. We have so much to cover on this week's MtM Vegas. If you like the channel, please hit the subscribe button, share this video with friends, and don't forget to smash that thumbs up. Thanks so much for listening. Let's hit it. So, Mark, are you excited? Your trip's, 2 weeks away? Got all your plans cemented for Vegas?
Yeah, it's T-minus a little under 2 weeks, so I'm looking forward to it. Especially we got dumped like a foot of snow today, so I'm looking forward to the 60 to 70 degree weather. Yeah, shoveling all day. Wasn't great. Kids were home from school, of course. So I'm looking forward to that. We have semi-plans. I like to plan out a couple things, but I find that if you plan too much, then you don't end up doing it and you get, disappointed out of it. But we're definitely going to hit Circa. There's a couple people that haven't been. So we're going to do that. Trying to check out the Legacy Club up on the rooftop bar there. Maybe head over to Ellis Island, show them the outdoor patio area. So couple things in the work, and trying to slide in Topgolf. We'll see. I've never been able to get in there because it's usually during normal Vegas, it's a 2-3 hour wait. So hopefully we can get in there during COVID times. But
yeah,
I'm just hoping the Sharknado, the movie. I'm hoping Daybed NATO doesn't come my way when we're at Circa.
Yeah, that was insane. I was actually out of town. I was in San Diego, so I didn't get to experience that great wind. And thankfully, my house here in Henderson, we had heavy wind, but none of my trees got knocked down or anything. But it was crazy. I sent you a picture of the drive-in movie theater where half the screen had blown into the street. And yeah, that video of Circa with the furniture and pillows flying was insane.
Yeah, and I've been in Vegas. I think it was a couple years ago when we did the Diamond Lounge bar hop thing. And there was a big windstorm there. And I was staying at Planet Hollywood. And I kept hearing and I'm like, what is that noise? And they had a little vent that pops up by the window to release the stress on the building when there's high winds. And I'd never had that happen before. And I'm going in there and this thing's popping up and all this wind is blowing in. It's super loud. Freaked me out a little bit. But after I figured out what it was, I was like, oh, okay, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I've noticed those on the windows. I've never had that happen before. And quite honestly, never really paid much attention to why they're there. Now that you said it, makes sense. But yeah, we are in the middle of the desert, so we do get these crazy windstorms. And this was a particularly bad one. And I wonder what Circa is going to be doing. Maybe they're going to have to nail down their furniture, or come up with some other waiting system.
Maybe just not open the pool when it's a tornado forecast.
Yeah, although it came out of there were heavy winds, but it did seem like that burst that really caused that. I saw videos from different places in the valley, and it did seem like that came out of nowhere. I saw a video from the swap meet of the same thing at the same time, and just started picking up tents, and it really came out of nowhere. So, who knows? But I'm glad that I have some pretty tall pine trees in my yard, and I have a palm tree that's 30 feet tall that they tell me is diseased, and within the next year or two is going to have to come down. So I was like, oh God, I hope that didn't blow down, and it didn't. So I was pleasantly happy, and I hope everybody out there, their trees were standing and no damage was done. And if you were at Circa, then you have a story to tell, which is always good.
Yeah, I saw one guy, he dove under the water in the pool as the chairs were flying. I'm like, pool's the best place to be.
I guess. Yeah, unless... it was definitely insane. It looked like Sharknado. You're absolutely right. All you needed was sharks to come down, and it would have been. It would have been.
He should have brought some stuffed animals and thrown them in the air or something.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the show because we have a lot to talk about. And starting with the good news that we learned from the governor this week, that he is loosening restrictions, and on top of that, he's sort of laid out a timeline where he will continue to loosen restrictions. And one of the big things with that has been shows. Right now we're capped at 50 people, and as of now they're going to 100 people, and then in the middle of March could go up to 250 people. And special big events, like for instance the Golden Knights, have been able to apply for a waiver, and the Golden Knights have applied for 20% occupancy, which would be about 3,500 fans at their games. And we learned that Carrot Top is coming back, and Fantasy at Luxor, and your favorite, the Thunder from Down Under at Excalibur, is coming back. Actually, your real favorite, Piff the Magic Dragon, had come back a couple weeks ago, but he's going to now move to 100, be able to do 100 people. Brad Garrett's Comedy Club is going to be able to move back to the ballroom where they were to do 100 people. So we're kind of back to that point where we're getting a few more shows on, and then in March 15th, when they're able to go back to 250 people, as long as the numbers are good, then we might see a ton of new shows open back up.
Yeah, it's good news because I just wrote an article, and I know we're going to talk about that next too. The Diamond, the 2 free tickets you get from Caesars Diamond, usually has a pretty extensive list, and people were worried that had left because it's not on the benefits page on the website at all. So they're like, hey, is that not a benefit anymore? And I'm thinking, it's probably just because there's not really any shows available. So I reached out to them, and they let me know that, yes, it is still a part of, being a Diamond member, but without shows available. You can do the link, the high roller at the link, and you can do bodies exhibit. So those are the only 2 things that are open right now. Piff is on and off the list throughout the year. So maybe once it goes to 100, he'll be added to it. But hopefully in March, when all the shows start to come back and the capacity's risen, then we'll see more of those start to hit the show list as well, that you can get free tickets.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that I should go do Link, go do High Roller at Link, just because I have that the ability to do it, and I haven't been on it in a while. And just to kind of round out the restrictions, February 15th, we moved to 35% in restaurants, and that was from 25%. The big change here, though, is you don't have to make a reservation anymore. You did have to make a reservation when it was at 25%. So now you'll just be able to walk up to a restaurant that has space and not have to go through that whole process. And, March 15th, then these restaurants and a lot of the indoor spaces will be able to go to 50% and really start opening up. Of course, Sisolak did address the very important thing of adult entertainment. And he did say,
when's the strippers coming back?
Certain, quote, high-risk businesses and activities, adult entertainment establishments, nightclubs, day clubs, and brothels will remain closed until at least May 1st. So May 1st is another date that a lot of people should look forward to, because I think that's the next date, not only when we might get those types of venues back, but also where the next set of restrictions might go back as Vegas tries to have somewhat of a normal summer, hopefully. But good news all around with these restrictions.
I was just joking with my buddy who's going to Vegas with me. I'm like, hey, I wonder if the strip clubs, if they have a plexiglass barrier that they dance behind, or how it works. Like they just bring it from station to station and set it down and then do their dance. I don't know.
Yeah, they've been pretty strict on the adult stuff and on these clubs and stuff. But at least it gives the owners a timeline when they might be able to come back. And everybody who loves to go out to Pahrump, I'm sure the traffic on that road will increase once May 1st rolls around, with all the brothels opening up out there. But we'll keep you up to date with anything else that happens, new shows that are added. But it's exciting to see entertainment kind of coming back after that last retraction. And let's move on to the next thing, Mark, because Cosmo caught on fire this week. Did you see that?
Yeah, and it's bizarre that it's on a balcony. I don't know what is catching on fire unless somebody's doing something out there. There wasn't a lot of details in the article. They didn't let us know what caused the fire or anything, but I have to imagine it's somebody doing something they shouldn't be doing out on a balcony, but I don't know what else would catch on fire. I know you've stayed at a Cosmo room with a balcony. Is there anything that could just sporadically catch in flames, or do you think it'd have to be man-made?
Yeah, I think man-made. Who knows what goes on in those balconies? I mean, there's furniture out there, of course, and I'm sure that some things are flammable. The interesting, it was a big deal. Tons of firefighters are called, as any kind of fire at a big hotel like that is. People were injured. Multiple people went to the hospital, but I don't think there were any fatalities and no real damage, as far as I understand, to the building. So it's always dramatic when you see one of these hotels catch on fire, though.
Yeah, I just don't know what are people getting injured. It's so bizarre, and it seemed like there was a lot of people involved in it for a balcony fire, which you would think it'd be a couple people on their private balcony outside their room. So I don't know if it spread to other balconies or what. I don't know.
I'm wondering if it didn't, if it was just like some sort of a big kind of thing that happened on that one. It's a lot of metal out there and glass and stuff, so I don't know how flammable the building itself is. But it does seem like it was contained. Of course, a few years ago, Cosmo's pool caught on fire, which is famous. So this is the second sort of big fire at Cosmo. And we have these every once in a while. Monte Carlo caught on fire a few years ago. Thankfully, the water suppression systems, the fire suppression, are the Las Vegas fire department is great at this. They train constantly at this stuff. So they're ready when that happens. It's not a surprise. And they go up there quickly. They know what they're doing. And they did a great job. So congratulations to them and to the Cosmo for surviving its second fire, and hopefully everybody is okay. I do think from the article that they are, and I'm glad to hear that despite the minor injuries that it said. Now let's talk about something that's a little bit disheartening, I guess. I don't know. I mean, people love to complain about Vegas and resort fees. Mark, we hear it all the time. And of course, we try to show people how to avoid them with Founders Card and other things, and or at least get credits to offset them. There's all kinds of strategies you can use, but it doesn't matter what you do. They're going to keep charging them and increasing them. And despite it being the pandemic, Caesars Entertainment decided to raise the resort fees at 3 properties. What is it? Cromwell is now up to about $50 after the tax. It's $45 plus tax. And Paris and Planet Hollywood going up from $30 to $39, so about $44 with tax. Thankfully, neither you or I pay these because we're both Diamond members, and we've showed people through matches and other ways to get it. But is this a little tone deaf?
Yeah, especially right now with Vegas struggling to, with capacity and being in a pandemic. I don't know why you would do this now. Maybe once you get on the rebound, like next year, I could see raising it with inflation and everything like that. But I don't know why you would do it at this moment, unless you're just trying to slide it in when nobody's paying attention, maybe. I don't know, but it's crazy because I just booked a room when we're going down to Circa because we might hit the pool and then going to the club later. I booked a room at Golden Gate, and I've always wanted to check out the rooms there. It's one of my favorite places to gamble with the dancing dealers and everything. And it's such a small little intimate casino and the oldest hotel in Vegas, I believe. I booked a room there. It was like $29 a night, and the resort fee was $32. So the resort fee was more than the room rate, which is crazy. And you're not getting a pool or fitness center or anything like that for the resort fee. So it's just a way, just charge the $70 or whatever, but it's a way to suck you in. So I'm paying it just so we can drop stuff and have a place to like leave stuff if we need to change of clothes or whatever, but something to check out for sure. But yeah, these drive me crazy. I know they drive a lot of people.
You should have been staying at Four Queens. No resort fees over at Four Queens. It's a little bit of a walk from Circa. But
that's not where I want to go, though.
I'm just kidding. Golden Gate, I mean, so much history there. I mean, it is the oldest hotel in Vegas, and that casino is very historic, and it's nice too. And of course, close to Circa, which makes a lot of sense compared to the Four Queens. Sure. But I mean, back to resort fees. Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I don't get why they would raise them here, but this is Caesars Entertainment. We just talked about them cutting booze last week and all the little nickel and diming
they give you half a drink for $20, and then they're going to charge you $40-$50 for a resort fee. It's insane. Caesars is completely tone deaf, and they just got purchased, so you think that they would be slow rolling some of this stuff. Maybe it's a way to get back some of the money they've dumped into it for the purchase. I don't know what's going on, but it's definitely made me reconsider. I've been a Caesars loyalist for many years, and they've slowly deteriorated the program, and now they're just nickel and diming more than anybody else, and it makes me think maybe I need to look elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, and their hotels are cheap. The rates are cheap. Certainly, if you can get diamond status and avoid those resort fees, they're cheap. But you can definitely tell the difference. They cut back on staff. Just checking into the hotels, the people aren't as friendly. And I noticed that, like I said this last time when I stayed at the MGM Resorts properties, that they're just a little bit nicer, from the staff to the rooms to everything. Even at a place like New York, which isn't luxury or upmarket at all. It was a great stay, and the room was nice. I've stayed at all the Caesars properties pretty much in the last year, and certainly I think that they're going to struggle immensely over the next few years in Vegas because their properties aren't positioned so well unless it gets to the point where rates go really high again, and then they can position themselves as a value proposition. I think people will pay just a little bit more to go elsewhere because the prices overall are still very cheap. Okay.
I was going to say, they were the last ones to really get on the resort fees. That was their pitch. We're the last place in Vegas. No resort fees, no parking fees. And then they've completely gone the opposite end of the spectrum where they have the highest fees and their cheapest drinks. And so they need to go back. That was when people really loved Caesars, was when they were trying to, show the value, because as you said, their properties are a step lower. Even their top end properties are a step lower than, high mid tier of MGM properties. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to dig up the commercial, see if I can do that on YouTube, of their no resort fees ad campaign. I think they had a parade with Oscar Goodman, the mayor at the time, saying we don't have resort fees. And of course they did away with that a long time ago. And it's not even the same company anymore, as you point out, because it's really Eldorado Gaming, or Eldorado Resorts. Yeah, not good. And at a time when new casinos and new hotness is coming to the Strip, we just learned that Resorts World has an opening date set, and we learned what Virgin Hotels Las Vegas is going to finally open. Virgin on March 25th and Resorts World on May 14th, which is sooner than a lot of people thought. I just drove by there yesterday, didn't grab any video, but it looks significantly more done than it did about a month ago. So they really are making progress to the exterior right now. And I don't know. There's a lot of interior parts that aren't even done at all. So I don't know if the entire project's going to open May 14th at Resorts World. Maybe they're going to stagger their opening, but Vital Vegas had a great post with pictures and stuff. So it looks good.
I think they did. He updated that post at the bottom. They reached out to him and said, we don't have a set date, but we're not saying it won't be that date. So I guess it could get bumped, kind of how Virgin did. But I wouldn't be surprised to see something like they did with Circa, where they'll open the casino, but not yet the hotels, or just open up, since they have several hotel brands there, maybe open up one of the hotel brands. And then I'm guessing they're going to be looking at what kind of, visitors are coming to Vegas and how busy it is. And if it's not that busy, they might delay it a little bit further. So I think that'll all play into it, but a staggered opening is probably in the future, because it did look like there was still a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and they have a lot of convention space there, a big theater. And we saw this with Circa, where they changed their construction timeline to focus on other things while they knew COVID was happening. And I would expect that Resorts World probably did the same thing, knowing they wouldn't need their convention space on opening day, knowing they wouldn't need their 5,000 seat theater on opening day. And maybe they moved to other things. Vital Vegas did have some interior shots that look like parts of the casino are pretty far along, signage installed, even signage for the Boring Company's Vegas Loop, which was exciting to see, the Tesla tunnel system, which Resorts World will have a station. I doubt that will be open. Well, that will not be open when the casino opens in May. That system isn't fully approved yet, but it's good to see all of that. And I was impressed with the exterior. It is coming along really well. But like I said, there's parts of the building you can still see inside where they've done no interior work. My guess is that's the conference rooms and things like that, the convention spaces that they're not necessarily finishing. But they're still being very secretive about everything. So who knows? They're really trying to surprise a lot of people. But it looks great. I'm excited. The Crockfords, which is the LXR, which is their Four Seasons like hotel, looks amazing. I'm a huge fan of the Conrad brand, which is an upscale Hilton brand, and then the regular Hilton there, which is the most down market of the three brands, which tells you that this is going to be a great property, and more reasons why people don't want to stay at Caesars Entertainment Properties further south on the Strip.
Where's the Best Western going, though? Where are we going to squeeze that one in?
Best Western is just it's just down there at Casino Royale. It's not too far. That's all part of this. But I mean, this is now creating a hot area of the Strip, I think, with Resorts World. I've been saying this for a long time, and not surprisingly, we got news on Fontainebleu as well, which is just across the street and up a little bit. And Fontainebleu sold to the Koch brothers or the Koch Industries, I guess. They are going to do something with the project. I'm not surprised, given I think all the momentum is on that area of the Strip.
Yeah, I do think it's going to get pushed down that way as it opens, and I can see why they purchased it, and they might sit on it for a little bit to see how the opening goes and see when Vegas comes back, but it doesn't surprise me that they want to get in on it. That property's been sitting there forever, so hopefully somebody does something with it at some point.
Yeah, and the last iteration was called the Drew, and it was supposed to be a JW Marriott, and Marriott was involved, so we don't know if that's going to continue or if this is going to be a completely new direction. All estimates are that more than $1 billion will be required to finish that building. But again, it's kitty corner to Resorts World. There's other sites in the area where future development can happen. I really think just as it was in the 50s, 60s, maybe even 70s, that area of the Strip will be the hot area of the Strip come 5 or 10 years from now. I think that you're going to start seeing the south end of the Strip die out. And while Caesars Entertainment's sort of in the middle of the Strip, it's going to be, I think, harder for them to compete with some of these properties. But these are high end, and who knows? People still need those lower end properties. Circus, though, is right next to Resorts World, so you can get a cheap hotel room and still enjoy that brand new resort.
Do you think Slots for Fun's going to get a facelift after all of this with all the increased traffic?
It's really hard to tell because Phil Ruffin, who owns, I believe he owns Slots of Fun and he owns Circus. He's not a teardown guy, so he probably will renovate these places, and I expect that there'll be a lot more people in that area. And of course, the new convention center is right across the street too, so you got this Tesla system coming in. I mean, the future for this area is really bright. And I mean, if you're a convention attendee, why do you want to stay in the other areas of the Strip when you can stay near the convention center now in places like Wynn, but also Resorts World? And I think that you'll continue to see these hotels come in. And Majestic, of course, is going to be built there too, hopefully, crossing our fingers. That's that big non-gaming hotel we talked about. But it's exciting. And really quick, Virgin Hotels, I don't want to leave them out. Our friend Rick said for opening night that they were requiring a 3-night minimum, but he was able as a Hilton Diamond to book it for 1 night. Of course, they're still trying to charge crazy rates, which is
they took the Circa playbook, book it for 3 nights at high rates, even though we're off Strip. I'm sure people will do it, just to be there for opening night and check it out. I do wonder how much they changed, because I thought it was a nice property when it was Hard Rock, so I didn't think they needed to do a ton to it, but it looks like they gutted it pretty much from the inside. So it'll be interesting to see what it looks like. I hope it's awesome. The pool area was always one of the better pool areas in Vegas, so hopefully they kept that semi-intact and kept the fun that happens out there, but we'll see.
Yeah, the pool's awesome. They always had good restaurants, and it seems like they're really spending a lot of focus on the restaurants at Virgin Hotels. A lot of new restaurants, and then even the ones that are kind of the holdovers are completely renovated and new and expanded. And of course, all the rooms, they gutted and redid. So it really is like a whole new property, but the pool was great. So I can imagine that they didn't make it worse. I'm hoping that maybe they even improved on it, but the whole vibe there, I think, would be cool.
They need to keep the bar where you can hear people talking from the other side. Hopefully they kept that intact.
I never experienced that, but
you didn't. It's crazy because you sit down and you could talk like just like you're talking to somebody next to you, like not very loud at all, and you would hear perfectly the people talking that loud across the bar from you. So, and it's funny because people would forget that you could hear, even though they could hear you talking, and they would say some crazy stuff that you would hear. So it was always fun to just sit there and have a drink and laugh about it. But
absolutely, Vegas. Listening in on people's conversations in Vegas is always a great pastime, and you always hear amazing things, and that's definitely a recommended pastime. And I didn't know about that bar. Well, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it's still there at the end. So much coming. I'm excited for Virgin Hotels. I don't know if I'm going to stay there opening night. I'm still debating it, but I will stay there soon. I still got to stay at Circa. Still got to make my way over there on one of these days. But now that I had my little vacation,
still haven't dropped, which is crazy. I'm surprised they haven't dropped at all.
I don't know. Maybe it's just they're just deciding they want to keep that floor. If they rent out 35% of the rooms at a high rate compared to 50% of the rooms at a lower rate, maybe they just figure it's easier. But now that I got to Disneyland and I got to San Diego, got out of town for a few days, I'm ready to go tackle some more Vegas hotels. And that's going to do it for this week. So much exciting news, so much to talk about. Let us know in the comments what you think about all these topics, about Caesars resort fees, fires at the Cosmo, COVID restrictions, and everything else we talked about. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
See you next week.